So if you're anything like me, you're not looking to further glycate your face. We've had enough damage in our upbringing. Sugar apparently attaches to protein cells in your face and just like deforms them. So you would think, oh, avoid all sugar then, or you'll age your face. It's the opposite of that. You're stupid. So this is why I eat a high carb diet, to avoid sugar damaging my body. It sounds stupid on paper. Even saying it is gross. It tastes like mint Fruit Loops. So basically, high blood sugars damage the body. If they stay elevated, you could literally have to chop off your leg. It gets so bad. Diabetics, it glues up your blood and then circulation just does not flow. Like, you do not want high blood sugar. If you have your A1C and it's like, oh my God, above 6, and you're diabetic, you're dying. There's many diseases connected to high blood sugars. But what y'all don't understand is the best way to clear your blood of sugar is to not have too much fat. Let me just explain a couple simple ways fat and protein keep your blood sugar higher longer. And then you may disagree, but I will prove you wrong. If you eat, just try this yourself. If you're carnivore, eat lean meat, like just a lot of protein and fat. Doesn't have to be like chicken breast, but just eat a massive amount of protein and then test your blood sugar. I was doing that all the time, and even waking up in the morning, it was like 5.6, sometimes above 6. You want it like 4 point something in Canadian numbers, the superior number. I had the highest blood sugar all day long on carnivore, eating 0 sugar whatsoever. If you eat too much protein, we don't need a ton. You could argue 0.7 grams per pound is probably too much for longevity purposes, but if you want some strength, I understand you. So when you go over this amount of protein and your kidneys have to constantly eliminate the excess nitrogen, all this acid waste, ammonia, urea, uric acid, they're harsh things that your body doesn't want to have to deal with that, and it's going to come out your skin, it's going to come out your kidneys, you're peeing it out, you're pooing it out. You smell these ammonia poos as a carnivore, it's like, okay, overdid that protein. Not only do your kidneys get damaged over time, but your blood sugar, you're just like, all this protein, we only need this much to build muscle, you're eating 5 times that. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to turn it into sugar constantly so we can store it as fat and burn it as sugar. And it leads to this long, prolonged spike that never ends. Whereas when you eat a high carb meal without any fat in your diet whatsoever, for like at least a week straight, you have no fats. Fruits, vegetables, grains, done. Maybe beans if you can even digest those. Those scare me. But all the saturated animal puke is out of your blood. It's not clogging up your insulin receptors. And then you have this super high, like you wouldn't believe the amount of sugar I had today in my green smoothie. Before this video, it was like 7 bananas, bunch of dates soaked overnight, blueberries on top of that. I should have added maple syrup just to laugh at myself. So like all this sugar, it spikes way higher than your carnivore meal ever would, but the amount of time that sugar is effing you is much shorter. It's like an hour, boom, done. Whereas your high protein meal is days of slightly elevated sugar. And I think that's a bigger problem. If you think sugar is damaging your face, you would think, oh, I want the lowest sugar possible. I'm not going to eat any sugar. Your body always has sugar floating, just running through everything. Like, you'll never have 0 blood sugar. You'll die. You have to have it. So for the brain, certain red blood cells, other cells, your penis, I hit my elbow, you need the sugar. So you can't eliminate blood sugar. Your goal should be to have regulated, perfectly controlled blood sugar that responds to carbohydrate intake, which is the most common sense thing we have. If any foods are like, yeah, those are for humans, it's every plant that you see. 90% of them are carb rich. There's the odd one that is nuts and seeds that grow for like 2 months and like they're not even fun to eat. You would taste one like, I don't know about that. They never trigger satiety. Think of all the different textures of each fruit, like a mango, soft and juicy, papaya, slightly less juicy, but sweeter, and then a persimmon, even sweeter, banana, ew, what is that? Why does that exist? All these different textures, whereas nuts, you have to do a Luke Corona yogurt if you even have a chance in hell, and then they're all the same basic thing. Walnut yogurt. It's a creamy textured yogurt. It's gross. You're gross. But I think nature is telling us just by the selection of plants that grow naturally, it's mostly fruits and vegetables and starches, and then we cultivated grains and beans and potatoes. They're all starch and carbs and sugars and fun. Versus the odd thing, freak thing, like if you look at fruits, thousands of varieties of sugary fruits. On the fat side, if you think we're supposed to be keto, okay, the plant kingdom will provide avocados, ackee fruit. I've only ever seen that in a can. My hand is weird now. Durian, still mostly sugar. It's only like 20% fat. It's not much. Olives. There's like hardly anything. And then nuts and seeds. And then animals that you should be petting and saving and loving and licking. To clean them, not to eat them. Fat is not even close to the same energy as sugar. I've been keto for many years straight. Like I go back and forth between carbs and keto all the time. And keto, what I've noticed, sometimes it's a steady energy that's pretty decent, but it's way lower than the sugar. Once you fix your blood sugar control issues, which are like hormonal, it's also diet. Like once you lower the fat, your adrenals are functioning, your pancreas is good, your kidney function, you're eliminating stuff, you're not too high on the protein. Once you like start dialing in this stuff, you're exercising before your meal, you're earning your breakfast, you move, it's like all this glycogen gets used up in your muscles, and it's like, okay, I could store about 1,000 calories right now if you got it. And then you have your meal, and then it has somewhere to go quickly. If you're sedentary and doing fruit smoothies all day, good luck with those blood sugars. But once you've dialed in all these things, the energy you get from carbs versus fat, it's not even in the same ballpark. You know this. Maybe you feel pretty good on carnivore. I've felt good in the past. I'm fasting, I'm burning fat. It's like, this is pretty good. My mood's high. I couldn't like chase a tiger down and pet it and lick it to clean it, but we're functioning, not bad. But as soon as I ever switch to a high carb diet, immediately I'm like, oh my God, I'm alive, I'm electric. And it's like all this energy is just controlling the spikes can be your downfall. A lot of you have had that, like you're eating fruit meals and you're exhausted after. I have been through it many times. Usually I'm not exhausted anymore unless I have too much fat. When I had that restaurant meal like 5 days ago, it was so oily. Every little item was oiled. Couldn't believe how much fat I had. The next day, I was exhausted after my smoothie. I drank it and I was like, oh man, the sugar's just floating around in my blood and I'm tired and this sucks. Whereas when you don't eat fat ever, it's just so much better. It's just clean, boom, instant, sucked up. Then you run. I'm sure some of you are eating a keto diet and you test your blood and your A1C is fine, your blood sugar is good, you're not having any issues. That's good. I'm happy for you. I was having issues and the cortisol spikes don't help. It's a lot of just attacky hormones in that adrenal-based system. You're getting most of your energy, you're producing it from like coffee-related adrenal hormones. You're just asking the body, come on, I'm tired, pep me up with something. Versus carbs, you just you run, takeandgo.com. I've watched many lectures on the stress hormones of high-fat keto diets, and that's enough for me. I've tried that road probably 9 times, if not 25 in a row, and then I come back to carb. It's always such a relief when I come back to carbs. It's been an issue trying to get those blood sugar, but now that I don't eat fat, I'm like doing not only calisthenics, but also running and rebounding 6 days a week. It's like, not bad. But when you go on a low-fat diet, that's how you heal diabetes. You're mastering your blood sugar. You're controlling it, not avoiding all sugar because you're panic scared. If I was afraid of dogs, would it not be more beneficial to like go with somebody who's a dog owner to a dog park eventually. Okay, I started you off way too fast. I'm sorry for taking you to a dog park already. You're terrified of dogs. Meet a friend first who has a really lazy, happy dog, because some dogs are not happy and they're protective of their owner. So you have this friend and you just let it lick you once and you get used to the dog. Okay, this dog's okay. Eventually you become okay. My fiance is afraid of cats because of Reggie. Every time she came over, he would swat her. And she's like, oh my God. And eventually she had to like get a little barricade to walk past him. She was that afraid. And I was like, that's keto. That's what she did. She was afraid. She's avoiding Reggie instead of just realizing that he doesn't want to kill you. He would eat your body if you let him, but you won't. And it's fine. And eventually we got a cat and she loved him. And she was so sweet and she's like, oh, petting him all the time. And slowly learning. Women aren't good at knowing where to pet a cat, I think. You got to feel the cat. It's like, okay, no, you're not liking that one. Okay, won't touch you there. She was always just like, okay, whoops. She just didn't feel it. But like she got over it eventually by being around more sugar. Huh? See how we're bringing that? So you be with sugar, learn how to absorb it and digest it, and you'll be a happier man, woman, child. But to say keto fixed your blood sugar, go eat some sugar, asshole, and prove it to me, because it's going to spike, and that's going to stay in because of all the fat you eat. It's a different path. But like if you're drawn to only fat, then go ahead. I was doing that on carnivore, and it was getting really gross, and I was nauseous, and I wasn't happy. My body's much happier with sugar and starch. So I just proved that diabetes is gone now. You're all going to follow the advice, thumbing up the video. I healed you. You could lie to yourself if you want to thumb down the video, because I know why you're doing it. You're doing it because you think the key to diabetes, I'm not allowed to say that, whoops, is horsefly juice. Oh, really? So you go around horses, vacuuming up the flies that feed off their sugary saliva, and you're trying to tell me that juicing the flies heals diabetes due to fly juice 6, the vitamins most vegans are actually deficient in. Didn't realize that, did you? Fly juice is available through my affiliate links down below. You can donate Bitcoin now. I'll be leaving. You subscribe for me? You a disagreeer? You better not. You better not.